Hello YouTube, thank you for coming once again and watching my videos. Today we're going to be starting a new series. I'm going to be continuing the old ones though, but this series is entitled Amped Up Superheroes. Because I'm so sick and tired of seeing the same shit over and over again, being rehashed to death, and it's just when they have such rich mythologies that you can derive from. Now, in the movies, you have groups of superheroes like the Avengers, and they always put in suck-ass characters or whatever when they could have a whole team full of strong characters, and that doesn't make sense to me. But today we're going to be specifying on Superman. Now, obviously, Superman was created by originally off of the German Übermensch, or Superman, but the character was derived from the Israelis, two of them specifically. Now, interestingly enough, if you take the Hebrew name of God in the OT, the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, in the Aramaic, and you prop it up, and it looks like a man. Put the letter Shin, or the S crest, on the chest, and Yahuwah becomes Yeshua. Clark Kent becomes Superman. And the whole Krypton thing, obviously, is based off of the Star of Bethlehem, aka Nibiru, the planet of the gods, where our people come from. Now, what really bothers me is, well, first of all, the red, yellow, and blue is a spoof off of the red, white, and blue of the foreign corporate Jew-run corporation that's enslaved us all. Of DC bases and territories thereof, it doesn't encompass all of America unless you consent to it, because they've divided up the country into federal territories via the zip codes. But he's always busy. He backs this corporation and their CEO, president, the UN, the Federal Reserve, everything. And equality for everybody. He just takes in people to jail. He doesn't ever hardly kill anybody. That's a very rare thing. So all these details combine to the fact that this Superman is nothing more than a communist. We got real problems in this fucking country, and he's bothering saving kitty cats from fucking trees when he should be hanging the politicians and bankers from the trees in the city squares for everyone to see. To me, he's more part of the fucking problem than the solution. Well, whereas Black Suit Superman, that's the one like on Smallville where he's like, I am Kal-El of Krypton. I'm here to reclaim my destiny. I'm not the last Krypton. I'm the first, and my soldiers are on their way for me to lead them. Now, that's the kind of shit that we need. Some real shit. Now, League, we have him in the Justice League. We have him teamed up with Batman, a vigilante. That's like he's working with a mob boss, basically. Granted, you could say they're all fucking vigilantes or whatever, but specifically that's reserved for Batman alone. I mean, Superman does have a legitimate title and right to rule, whereas you just got some guy. But, like when you're dealing with the Fortress of Solitude, that place needs a Stargate, a Kryptonian crystallized Stargate with cool Krypton symbols and stuff like that in there to make it sweeter. And it would be really sweet if they had that was the base of his superior Kryptonian Wi-Fi signal to get pure absolute knowledge. Now that would be really tight. Another thing about red, yellow, and blue Superman, the red S crest on his chest, being a communist and everything like that, all that is a symbol of the red dragon, the red serpent on his chest. So we know where they're going with on that aspect. Now, we're so familiar with his dad putting in the green crystal in his spacecraft when he arrived here on Earth and everything. I think it would be really way more sweeter and badass if instead of a green crystal, it was either his dad's or General Zod's. One of the two would have been the Kryptonian Green Lantern, and the green crystal was the depleted green power ring. That'd be sweet. And the which leads him to the Fortress of Solitude, which is fueled off of a Green Lantern, an actual Green Lantern for him to charge it up off of. That'd be sweet. And especially if the Green Lantern ring was powered by the green kryptonite, so it's kind of like a, kind of a thing with him. Having to power off all his stuff, off the stuff that'll kill him, potentially. That'd be sweet. Now, in the one of the movies, he ends up mating with Lois Lane, producing kind of like a halfie or half-breed or whatever. Now, in the movie, they made him look like he had all his strengths and of his weaknesses or whatever. But I think a lot of half-breed Kryptonians could account for a lot of other different superheroes that we'll get into in another video. But it does send a bad message of race mixing with Lois Lane, even though they're both white. So I think that it should be where we go back into the ancient past and we find out that Adam, being the first white man on this planet, was actually a Kryptonian colonization process. So if we find out that basically we're just a bunch of fallen Kryptonians, I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, so we need, how like his regular suit is supposed to be like their long johns or underbreeches or whatever on Krypton. Well, I'd like to see like black suit Superman with like the Spider-Man black suit. Make it more, like a symbiotic relationship, and don't puss out with the whole, oh, it's evil, it's going to take you over shit. Be like in the comic books where it was trying to be cool, but Spider-Man pussed out and tried to kill it. So that's why it pissed him off. I have a symbiotic relationship between the suit and the owner. That'd be pretty cool. But try not to go too overboard with it, like they did with Carnage and all. That just went way out of the ballpark on that. But and just like how on Krypton everybody was genetically engineered to be their own roles or whatever, to be superior in whatever they were designed to do. Well, I have it where Jor-El, his dad, made it so that he snuck in or did whatever, either legitly or not, and genetically engineered Superman, his son, to be Krypton's first superhero. So that not only would it be just, like a really cool person here, but even there he would have been kick-ass, so that'd even make him way more cooler here, And in the movie, Man of Steel, he ends up, Zod pusses out by trying to convert the Earth to make it so that none of them would have superpowers when it took him like 5 seconds. He's bitching about the pain or whatever and all the years it would take. Whatever, that's lame as hell. And then the whole Superman, having to go against his own people, that was a killer. I mean, shit. Well, instead, have it where Zod was sent, at the first and foremost, directly after Superman, basically, to land in this time to prepare him, basically to kick his ass into shape and get him to train or whatever, so that he could take his destiny over, and Zod could stand by his side as his general. I mean, have it where they were kind of teamed up with him and his dad and his brother Zod. Oh man, that would make a dynamic duo, Zod next to Superman being one of his generals to lead. So that eventually, the Kryptonians come, his soldiers, and basically they eradicate, the first and foremost, they take out the Israelis around the world and their nation, and any kind of an abomination or halfie or whatever along the lines, maintaining it and putting people back in their own countries and everything, so establishing our people in the role that they were always meant to. And in the end, they basically say, well, you know what? Our people, the Adamites, are the top dogs, and they bow down and help us. So, that would be cool. And another thing that really bothers me is he has Supergirl. That, I mean, it's his cousin or whatever, but you know what? Isaac married Rebecca, his cousin. It's sanctioned by the Torah, so whatever. You're going to pass up a pure-blooded Kryptonian, one of your own people, and then start mating with another people on another planet? That doesn't make any sense. That's some comic bullshit. We'll have it where Supergirl is his wife. And then, maybe not having kids yet, because superheroes having kids always gets lame, but, that's always a prospect for the future, at least. And have her be black suit, too, obviously, otherwise, and have it where his escape pod, have his escape pod that he was brought here to Earth in be like the ship from Flight of the Navigator, because that would be so badass. And have it where it has like 3 different Stargates or so inside of it, so that different rooms of his throne room, basically, that's what it was going to eventually become. Be like where you're stepping in from one room into another of the same ship. Spans galaxies or so, have it where the Stargates, they establish the wormhole, then they collapse down, so going from one room to another, instead of being disassembled and thrown halfway across the galaxy to another part, just have a thin membrane to preserve, disinfection or whatever, to keep water back and all that, and just step in from one room to another, so it's just like, that'd be simple and easy enough. So by using this Stargate technology, actually helped him get here quicker. That's why he arrived 33 or whatever years before the rest of them did. Even though they might use the same technology, it could still space it out to make it more applicable. Yeah, and that whole Krypton blowing up thing, that's real lame compared to their star going off, So, I mean, that's a lot bigger of a deal, so I think I'd like to keep that going on myself. And as far as Clark Kent is concerned, well, Smallville had the best because he had that farm boy build, but as a Superman, he was kind of weak. Man of Steel was awesome at the beginning, man, with that bare chest. Tom Selleck looked like chest with the beard and all, but then he shaved up and he looked like a skinned monkey, so I don't know about that. The previous movie, that guy just looked like a little boy, so that sucks. So we need a better one. But the Clark Kent role itself, instead of being a reporter, like what? Make him one of the men in black. That's why he's tapped into everything and how he knows he gets his information and shit like that. Even though they're kind of like they don't know what's really going on with him on the Superman tip, obviously, but that'd be real cool. All right, that's all we got for today on this topic. I hope you like it and you enjoyed yourself, maybe learned a little bit too. Feel free to like, subscribe, post one of your favorite videos of mine on your wall, and share some on your friends' walls too. Post comments or suggestions for or questions for future shows, and you have a good one. Thanks a lot.